I know I'm not the only one out there who finds Boomy's laugh more disturbing than charming. Hey guys, so I'm finally continuing my journey through Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just finished up episode 5, King of OMASHU, and this was always an episode when I would rewatch the series, which I've done, like I've kind of lost track, but I know between 12 to 15 times, and this was always an episode that I would often skip. And I know Boomy is like a fan favorite minor character, and I completely understand it too, because I like Boomy. But this was an episode that it's like, you see it once, you get the gist of it. But I watched it again with my new roomies, and it was highly enjoyable and really clever. So I kind of left it with more positive feelings than I had going into it. Not that I had negative feelings, but it was just kind of, like I said, it was an episode that I would skip. If I were to rewatch the series again, especially within like this calendar year, I would probably skip it again. But like I said, I have more positive feelings towards it because it's very creative. It's very fun. I actually really like and would have been fine exploring more of OMASHU itself. To do a brief kind of overview of the episode, Aang takes his friends to go see OMASHU, which is a place that he really liked 100 years ago when he was growing up. And so you get to see the city and the interesting earthbending. I live near a fire station now, so there's constantly ambulances. Oh, and a police station, so that's fun. That's good for filming. And OMASHU is a really interesting earthbending city that they explore before they get captured by this crazy king who kind of traps his friends and makes Aang do these really crazy tasks that he has to go about solving in a more creative and interesting way. And for the final challenge, the crazy king asks Aang to tell him what his name is, which Aang realizes it's his friend Boomy. So this guy is like 14 years old. And he put him through these challenges to prepare him for his fight with the Fire Nation and the Fire Lord, and then let them go, and everyone's happy. The things that I really liked about this episode, obviously the little beginning when his whole, I should have wrote it down, Pippo Mippo Lopicus, when he pretends to be like this little old man and he and Katara and Sokka sneak into the city, is a really cute sequence. This is the first time, or not the first time, I guess the islands of Kyoshi, but that wasn't really a bending location. So this is the first time we get to see a city that's run on a different element. And so OMASHU, what's really fun about it is the whole packaging system, because it's like shaped like a triangle, and like Aang says, earthbending brings the packages up, and then gravity brings the packages down, and then they have this really fun like roller coaster like sequence where they go in like one of those little packaging chutes down, and then they have to like jump all around and crash into things and run into people, and it's really fun and really effective, and it's just such a creative way to like see the gist of the city and like the different things that would be going on there. Like we see someone who's like painting a pot, and army soldiers, and of course the my cabbages guy. Classic AtLA meme. But eventually after that they get, because they've like snuck into the city, so then they get brought to the king. And before this we have a flashback to when Aang is visiting his friend Boomy, and I don't know, I wish I could go back as a kid when I very first watched this, like, you know, back in 2002, to see if like, was I tricked? Did I not know that the king was also his friend Boomy? Because that's part of the reason that I kind of skipped over it, is because it's like, you see that play out once, you get it. It wasn't an episode that I thought brought more to the table the more you watched it. But like I said, watching it with new people was kind of enjoyable because Boomy's jokes were pretty cute. He has the whole thing about like the refurbishing the old bad chamber, and now it's the new chamber, and it's kind of a weird joke, but it's also weird how well it plays out, like the longer they talk about it. I also really liked his palace because there's this green lighting, and it was really cool how everyone's skin and like clothing had this like tinted shade of green over it. I thought that was really effective. The challenges were another thing where once you see him once, you kind of get it. The only one that I really got more out of was when he took on Boomy. It was kind of creepy how he went from being all like hunched over and decrepit, and you like heard his back like get up. It's like, Boomy, you're kind of scary. You're kind of a creepy old man. But it was really fun to see like a master earthbender against a master airbender, and kind of the dynamic of that because they are such opposing elements. And airbenders especially, I shouldn't say airbending, but airbenders, the way that they're taught, especially, you know, Aang's culture, is to really avoid, evade, not be more on the defensive, not on the offensive. So Boomy kind of constantly going at him with all these various rock structures and quicksand. It was kind of pushing Aang to his limit until he finally did fight back against him. And that was where I was like, okay, that was really good, because it is like, okay, Aang, it's more in your nature to avoid things and run away, but due to the fact that you have to face Ozai, you do need to be more aggressive and more on the attack. And it was just like a little hint of the struggle that Aang's gonna have later on in the series. Being on the offensive, it goes really against his nature. I also really liked the creeping crystals that Katara and Sokka wore. I thought that was really, like, it just looked really cool, and it's like, that's just such a creative way to imprison someone. Although another thing where I was always kind of like, with the episode was when he revealed himself, and it's like kind of sweet because it's like, oh, you're the only person that Aang knew from his past who's not dead, but you also imprisoned his friends and like scared them half to death and like put Aang through all these challenges, which, like I said, the last one I felt especially had a purpose, but I don't know, it's very odd, but there is such a charm and kind of a warmth with Boomy and like his voice actor especially, where it's like, it's okay, it all works out in the end, everyone's happy, no one seems to mind that they were like detoured for 2 days so his friend could like low-key torture them. And it is made very clear within the episode that Boomy may be wacky and kooky and a little weird, but there is wisdom in what he's talking about and how he addresses Aang. It's a good dynamic, and it kind of gives a little foreshadowing to the things that Aang is going to have to face in the future, both externally and internally, and again reminds you of the eerie warning of like, everybody kind of knows that this Fire Nation war is going to come to a head, and Aang's the only one who can possibly stop it. So it just kind of reminds the audience of that. Enjoyable episode. No Zuko, no Iroh. Honestly, really no, the other, even Sokka and Katara don't really do much. It is definitely more Aang and Boomy focused. And I always enjoy like Aang focused episodes a lot. I really love Aang, obviously. And I always like when we see little hints of what his past are like. Definitely have like fonder opinions of this episode than I did before rewatching it. I think one of the things that also kind of puts me back with this episode a little bit is because I really don't consider the show a kids show. It was premiered on a kids network. It features kids, but it's more like Harry Potter in the sense that they're growing up, the themes are so large and heavy, and it's easily consumable by anybody. If anything, really young kids won't get it. But this was an episode that felt more was aimed at a younger audience. I think in a way that was like a little jarring compared to the rest of the series, but maybe that's just me. If you have any thoughts or opinions or insights in this episode, definitely leave a comment down below. That would be great. It's always fun to discuss Avatar themes, especially the farther along we get, because it just compounds really well. So if you like this video and you want to see more like them, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye!